Hello, welcome back to my studios. How is everybody today? Very nice to be here. I have to say, beautiful sunny day here in London. Oh my goodness, I hope the sun is shining where you are. Makes such a difference, doesn't it? I mean, not only all that vitamin D, obviously, if we get outside, but just waking up and realising that the sun is shining. So it's going to be a good day. Yes, it is. I'm going to get our friends on Facebook to join us. Hello, Facebook. How are you today? Oh, yes, says okay, the connection. I'm really sorry about yesterday. I don't know what happened. You know, right at the end, we lost Facebook. You went down again. So I didn't touch it, but loads of you hopped onto Instagram, which was really good. And it was actually right at the end of the broadcast. So hopefully you didn't miss too much. So I'm really sorry. Fingers crossed that it all stays well today. But you know, you can cross-pollinate. So I know the other day we had an issue with Instagram. That was my fault, obviously, because I cut us off by mistake. But if ever that does happen, you can hop over to Liz Earle Wellbeing Facebook page, and vice versa, Liz Earle Me on Instagram is where you will find me. And then if all that fails, everything then gets uploaded shortly afterwards onto YouTube. So if you don't yet subscribe to the Liz Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel, then it's really worth it, because we put lots of tutorials and things up there. I've got a new makeup one going up shortly. I'm doing something on hair. I've been busy with Lily. She's been helping me out. So we will get that loaded as well. So anyway, hi. Hello, Victoria. Nice to see you. Thank you very much to Amy, my lovely digital editor. She's busy on Facebook. She's going to be loading all the links for everybody. Obviously on Instagram, you know that everything I talk about will be on lizearlewellbeing.com or on the little blue Linktree link, which I hope everybody has found. Let me know if it's easy to find on Instagram. You just go to my profile where I have my little picture and a little bit of blurb about me, and at the bottom it's Linktree in blue letters, and if you click on that then you get access. It's like a backstage pass, access all areas. Click on that and a whole new world will open up, including links to this. Now there's a little story behind what I'm wearing today, because it is something I was given it by Alice, who runs Asquith London, as a little thank you for doing lots of shout outs for her, because I think her brand is great. And, you know, it's a female founder-led British brand doing things well, sustainable bamboo fibres, you know, it's lovely. So I'm really happy to do a shout out, and she gives us all a discount, which is great. So thank you, Alice. Anyway, after I did something with her recently on one of her outfits, she said, oh, you know, can I send you a few more bits, you know, as a thank you? And I said, you know, you really don't need to do that. That's fine. She said, no, I'll send you something. I'd love to send you my stripy top. And I thought, do you know, I don't wear stripes. Some people do. And I always admire those who do, those lovely sort of French chic women who, you know, you see in Paris or on the beach in Biarritz or whatever. You can imagine them swanning about looking gorgeously chic and effortlessly elegant in their stripy tops. They're matelot, isn't it? Matelot design. And that's never been me, to be honest. And so I thought, oh, okay, go on then. You can, you know, very welcome to send me one, thank you. And anyway, so this arrived, and do you know what? I really like it. And, you know, Alice said stripes are really fresh for summer, and I think she's right. And I didn't realise that it had this sort of different ribbing on the sleeve. It's rather good. And what I like about her cut is it's lower at the back, you know, so it kind of covers up bulgy bits, which is always good. And these are also hers. These are these wide culottes. How about that? Do a little twirl. So yes, I'm feeling very jolly and in a good mood, because the sun is shining. And I wanted to share with you back in my studio's kitchen. Now this is the first Instagram and Facebook Live I've ever done from my studio's kitchen, I think, where I'm cooking. So I had a bit of rushing around last night, prepping everything to make sure it was all ready, so hopefully it'll work okay. And it's just a really simple dish, and I love it, and it's kind of reminded me of various stories which I thought I'd throw in to share with you, because it's always nice, isn't it, to have a bit of a backstory. So what I'm cooking today, just in case you want to follow it, is in Yearbook 2, and it's on page 22, and it's a poke bowl. Okay, that's what it's going to look like, hopefully. But it's a super easy recipe, so don't worry if you haven't got the book. You'll be able to follow it, I'm sure. And I'm going to start by using some short grain brown rice. Now this, always amazes me as to why this is so difficult to find. I had to buy mine online, or you can get it from health food shops. And so I'll show it, I'll hold it up close So hopefully you can see that. The lights are reflecting here. I've got my studio lights on today. It's obviously a short grain. Duh, that's why it's called short grain brown rice. But I just think the flavour is so much better. And it's kind of like a nutty taste, and it's got a really good texture. You know how sushi rice is? I love sushi rice. I love the way it clumps together, and it's just different, isn't it, from basmati rice or curry rice. And it's very nutritious. So I will always use brown rice. So if my kids want to get a curry, which we probably will do at the weekend, we've got a local curry shop open, which is great. So what I do is I kind of do some spinach with turmeric and stuff to try and do a bit of healthy bit on the side. And then we go and get our curry dishes. And I will always make myself some brown rice to go with my curries, just because it's got more fibre, there's more prebiotics for our gut health. It fills us up more. It hasn't had the husk taken away, so it's much more nutritious. And I started to eat this, gosh, it must be maybe 35 years ago, when I first started writing about well-being and all of this. I was working for a women's magazine, Women's Journal, up in London, and there was this amazing organisation called the East West Centre up in Old Street, which is nothing like it is now. I mean, it was kind of like the back and beyond. Now it's all incredibly chic and kind of going into, I don't know, trendy areas like Shoreditch and all of that. Well, this wasn't like that back then. And the East West Centre was kind of the birthplace in the UK, I think, of macrobiotics and yin and yang and Clear Spring, which is a macrobiotic brand. So I did a macrobiotic cooking course up there, and I used to eat pretty much macrobiotically all the time, which is about balancing your yin and your yang. And it's a bit woo-woo, but it's got some really good stuff in it. I don't eat like that all the time, and I kind of moved away from it because I felt that it wasn't giving me a lot of the nutrition that I needed. But actually I really enjoyed it, and I do still keep some of those principles going. And one of them was short grain brown rice, because this is what they used to use for cooking. So it is super easy. Find it online or find it in a health food shop, and when you cook it, I've got some here that I cooked earlier because I was being prepared. It's really easy. You just need to rinse it, like all rice is. Always rinse it before you cook it, and then it's twice as much water as rice. So I just did 1 big cupful of rice, 2 large cupfuls of water, and then it takes about half an hour or so just to cook out like this, and you'll know it's done because all the water's absorbed. That's it. So it's really easy. And what I like to do, and I didn't do that because I didn't have any here, is normally I'll chuck in a handful of sunflower seeds right at the beginning, because they then cook and they swell with the rice and they give it extra nuttiness. And of course, sunflower seeds, you've got beneficial fats, you've got high levels of protein. So it's just a really easy thing. And I used to, honestly, when I was in my early 20s, I would just make a rice bowl with that and sprinkle on some sesame seeds and maybe chop up some tofu if I wanted to be completely veggie, bit of seaweed, because macrobiotics big into sea vegetables and seaweed, which I've also got some today, so I'm going to show you. So this is really, really easy, and this is the base, basically, of your poke bowl. So poke bowls, I think, became popular, I don't know, a year or two ago, maybe? Sorry, I've left my email on, it's pinging away in the background. Hopefully not too many people wanting me to do stuff right now, because they can see that I'm busy. So that's going to go, that's just going to make the base of my bowl like that. And then the next thing that I got, because I'm up here in London at the moment in my studios, because there are certain things I can only do here for the magazine, because this is where all our servers are and all of that. So I come here now for a couple of days a week just to work on my own, until I'm allowed to have a few more of my team back, perhaps. Anyway, so I went into town yesterday and to Waitrose, and I wanted to find some tuna, some fresh tuna, because I was doing a little bit of research. And with this poke bowl, this particular recipe calls for fresh tuna, but you don't have to use fresh tuna. Honestly, you can use grilled halloumi or tofu if you want to be completely veggie. You can use tin tuna, works really well. I always buy tin tuna in oil. By the way, I don't buy it in brine. I like to buy it with, they usually use olive oil actually, but I think it's much better to get those healthy fats into the diet. But I did find some fresh tuna. And I'm just going to wash my hands again. Actually, I did wash them earlier, but I always like to be super clean when cutting stuff. So I was talking to the fishmonger at the fish counter, And I said, oh, where does your tuna come from? Because I'm really interested. Because, you've got to be careful with, particularly with tuna and these large fish, they can have quite high levels of mercury. So don't eat them too often. I mean, fresh tuna, frankly, is something I'm probably only going to have, 2 or 3 times a year. I mean, unless you're kind of living on sushi. So this is the fresh tuna steaks. Whoops. So it is quite expensive. I paid about £9, I think, for 2 large steaks, but I'm going to cut these in half. So this will serve 4. And it's, if you've got 4 to serve or you have a special treat or something. So I'm going to take one, that's one of my chunks like this. Anyway, he was telling me, I'm just going to chop this, use a different board for that. He was telling me that Waitrose have a foundation where they work directly with fishermen. So this tuna is line caught and it comes from the Maldives, which are very clear waters, because you do have to be careful. Now the recipe does call for raw tuna. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I do like a little bit of sushi sometimes, but I just think you need to be careful. You can eat fish raw. They always say, interestingly enough, that you should freeze fish for 6 or 7 days because that kills any potential parasite that might be in there. And then you can defrost it and use it raw if you want, which is quite interesting. Have I ever had Italian tuna in glass pots? Yes, albacore, that's really good. Yeah, exactly. Somebody mentioning here albacore in a jar from Marks and Spencer's. I agree with you. That is the type that I really like. And actually, I make a really easy tuna pasta. Oh my goodness, it's so easy. You just chop up a red onion really, really fine. And the red onion goes caramelised and all sweet. And you just fry that off in a little bit of olive oil. Chuck in a jar of that lovely tuna and just flake it up. And then just serve it over pasta. I mean, so easy, so delicious. Honestly, one of my kids' favourite things. So I've got my chopped up tuna. And then I'm going to make a really, really easy marinade. Oh my goodness, this could not be easier. Basically, it's 2 things with an optional third, but it's tamari sauce, which is a wheat-free soya sauce, or you could just use normal soy sauce, that's fine, and toasted sesame oil. That's it, just the 2 things. And these are really useful ingredients actually to have in your kitchen cupboard. I think the recipe calls for 3 tablespoons, is it? Yeah, of each, so equal amounts. I'm not going to measure it that precisely. I just do a nice big splash of each. And then to give it that kind of orientally, Japanesey, pokey feel, you use a bit of wasabi. And I didn't have any wasabi, but I remembered that one time in the studios here, we'd had a delivery of Yo Sushi or something, and they brought us these extra little wasabi sachets. So I found one. How lucky was that? So can I get into it now? That's the next question. No. Oh, yes, I can. I was going to have to use my teeth for a minute. Right, so I'm going to use the contents of this little wasabi sachet. You can always buy wasabi paste easily. It comes in a tube, I think. Yeah, a bit like kind of tomato puree. Hi, Patsy. Yes, you are late. And you have missed me talking all about the early days and being macrobiotic. And I'm making poke bowls, okay, using fresh tuna. So you have to watch it on catch-up. So I'm going to mix that in and really easy. Now when I say marinade, actually you don't need to marinate this. It's not like you've got to let it infuse all the flavours, because the flavours are really quite strong. You can imagine you've got toasted sesame oil, you've got your soya sauce or your tamari sauce, whichever you want to use, and your wasabi. And so I'm just going to scoop. Sorry, it's still me with my phones balanced on a stand. Hi Lorraine, darling, how are you? I'm going to email you later. You're on my list because I've got a project I want to talk to you about, which I think you might be interested in. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just going to mix that in here. So yeah, I can't zoom in or out and do anything fancy, I'm afraid, because it is just me with a couple of phones balanced on a stand and some of my studio lights, which I've got my studio lights. I hope I look all right today because my studio lights are a bit brighter than normal because this is where we normally shoot for the magazine. Right, so I'm going to just fry that off. Now you can have it raw if you've taken the precautions that I talked about, and also make sure you know where your fish is coming from. Talk to your fishmonger. You know, I think they are the best. Actually, there's a really good fish organisation. Is it called Pesky Fish? Amy, help me out here on Facebook. I follow them on Instagram, pesky for fish, something like that. And basically it's the actual fishermen, often down in Cornwall or on the coast, and they are now selling direct to us as customers. So many farmers and growers are doing that, which I think is, you know, one of the many smaller mercies to come out of this whole thing, is that we are connecting directly with the guys and girls who produce and grow and fish and farm and do all of that. So you can get your fresh fish box direct from these guys who are the ones actually going out and doing the work. Isn't that cool? So Amy, hopefully you will find that link, and I will be able to, I'll pop it on my stories a bit later as well. So I'm just going to cook this very briefly. Excuse me turning my back. I'll have to do it this way. Can you still see me? Hopefully you can still see me. And I'm going to use a little bit of that same sesame oil actually to fry in, just so I don't mix up the flavours. So I'll put that in there. Actually, I don't think I'd need extra oil, would I, thinking about it, because it's got oil in the marinade. Anyway, there you go. Too late now. So while that is just going to fry off, sorry, you probably can't hear me. I said, while that's frying off, I will show you what else I got, because when I was in the supermarket, I also discovered on the fish counter, look, this. Do you know what this is? Okay, starter for 10. Yeah, pesky fish. There we go. It is called pesky fish. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, well done. Do we know what this is? Flying fish from Cornwall are doing the same. Brilliant. Great, great, great. Oh, good, and you do hear me. Okay, Samphire, well done. Clarabella Miller on Instagram was first off the mark with this one. So this is a sea vegetable, so it's a bit like seaweed. It tastes really salty, slightly crunchy. So I just boiled this. You can steam it just for a couple of minutes, just to cook it through. It tastes like the seaside, it's great. And it only is available for a short, limited period of time. I think it's only 3 months. It starts in June, so hey, we got ours a few days early. So I just got some of that. Excuse me, I'm going to have to turn this fish, I think, otherwise it's going to cook way too quickly. You grab a couple of forks, talk amongst yourselves just for a moment. Turn that down. Actually, I can probably turn it off because the heat will be enough. Where are we? There we go. So meantime, just to finish off the bowl, because the bowl is super easy, you need an avocado. So here's a picture again. I'll just remind you of what the finished dish is supposed to look like, just in case it doesn't end up looking like that. There you go. That's what I'm doing. Optional chopsticks, obviously. Hello, don't mess your top. No, I'm going to try not to, especially as it's brand new. Yeah, I like it. I should be wearing an apron, shouldn't I? But then I wanted to show you the stripes, so I'll just be careful. Right, avocado. I've got some avocados here. I was going to do a little post actually on avocados, because I looked at avocados online. It was really interesting. In Waitrose again, they had 3 different types of avocado. Well, they all look the same, actually, the same variety. But from 3 different countries, so all with 3 completely different sustainability stories. One was from Peru, one was from South Africa, I think, and the other one, which was an organic one, was from Spain. So I bought all 3, and I'm just kind of doing a taste test, and just to see, because obviously the difference, and I know I've said it before, but if you want to watch that series Rotten on Netflix, and the avocado wars, it's really, really quite terrifying. So I wouldn't normally choose to buy a South American avocado. And if you want to know why, you'll have to go and look at the documentary. Anyway, so let me grab an... Oh my goodness. Look at that. I did actually suspect that I had a mouse. And this is proof. An avocado eating mouse. Well, I guess it's a Wellbeing mouse, isn't it? Oh dear. Right, fortunately... another one, I'm not quite sure if it's as ripe. Let's see. Oh, it might be. Honestly, oh, there's the fish. Take that off. Cheeky thing! I'm really quite shocked. I've never known that. I've actually often left fruit, and you know, I've got a fruit bowl, so I would have apples and things, and avocados. Actually, that one's a little bit mushy. I might try a better one. I think you guys deserve a better looking avocado. Let's try this one. Yeah, this is more like it. Lots of really good healthy fats. Actually, I had a comment on my Instagram yesterday because I posted a picture of my brunch, what I had for brunch yesterday. So I had 2 eggs and half an avocado and a bit of asparagus, which I had left over, which I brought up from the farm. And did I have anything else with it? A bit of olive oil, I think, on the top. And there was a comment, and a lady said, oh, you know, that doesn't look very much. Is that it? And honestly, it fills you up. There's nothing like a couple of hard-boiled eggs, good quality protein, and then, you know, half an avocado full of good fats to really fill you up. Interesting amount of fibre in avocados. You might think because they're nice and sort of smooth and creamy that they don't have fibre, but they do. So I am going to do the avocado trick to get the stone out. I was hearing from a friend who works in A&E that this is quite a common cause of injury in A&E, because you take your avocado and you basically do that, I'm sure you've seen it, and then you lift out the stone, yeah? Anyway, the number of people they get in, particularly in the summer apparently, with avocado hand cuts, so be super careful when you do this. So then I'm going to take a spoon. It's quite nice standing here because I've got access to all my drawers, and then I'm just going to work that around the avocado just to lift out that rather beautiful bit of green goodness. And then I'm going to chop that, just take the end away, move it here and you might see it like that. So just take those little bits away because they don't look so good. So then it's just compiling it. So you take your rice, the sweet short grain brown rice. It's not sweet, but well, it tastes quite sort of nutty. I mean short grain brown rice. And I'm going to place the avocado on there, like so. This is going to be my lunch. And then I'm going to place the tuna with a nice little bit of sauce. Actually, that soy has made a delicious little bit of sauce. And you can see that even though I only used half of a tuna loin, it's plenty. You know, especially if you add more rice, you know, you don't need to spend a fortune on huge amounts of tuna. Or as I say, you can use tin tuna or jarred tuna or no tuna. You could use tofu. You could use the same marinade with tofu. That would work really well and be very macrobiotic if you did that. You'd be balancing your yin and your yang big time. So I'm going to then pop a little bit of spring onion over the top of that. Just finish chopping these. That works really well. And then I've got the Samphire, which I'm going to serve on the side, but also, just pop that on there. Also, what I wanted to put on there was a little bit of seaweed. So seaweed, again, this is something that I discovered when I was first macrobiotic back in the day. And from Clear Spring, which I think has gone from strength to strength as a brand, they sell lots of dried sea vegetables and all sorts. And seaweed is such a great thing. It's full of iodine, so it's really good for the metabolism. A bit like Samphire, it's full of iodine. And this is the sheet. So this is sushi nori. So you would buy these as sheets to wrap up your sushi rice, like this. And actually what you can do is you can make little squares of nori. Whoops. So you can have this as a really healthy little snack. You can serve it, you know, if you've got drinks in the evening, you know, a few little olives maybe, super healthy. Oh, I've got something to tell you about olives in a minute. So you can, you know, you can just cut it into squares like this and just have it as a nice sometime crisp. Really good. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snip it over my poke bowl. Don't know whether you can see, sorry if you can't. One day we will do this, possibly with a camera operator, to do close-ups Oh, we won't know ourselves, will we? So there we go. That's it. If you had any pickled ginger, that would be really nice with this as well. Sometimes you get that in sachets, don't you, when you get takeaways. Have I forgotten anything? Oh, that's it, isn't it? It's really simple. Yeah. Short grain brown rice, tuna, avocado, spring onions. Ooh, handful of fresh coriander. I'm not a coriander fan. Who likes coriander? I've talked about this before. You know, it's a genetic thing. For some people, depending on how your gene sequencing goes, you either like coriander, love it. Some people are mad for it. Other people can't bear it. It tastes like soap. David Bosco, is my tuna overcooked? Well, I will tell you whether it's overcooked. Depends how you like it. Some people like, you know, well-cooked tuna. Oh, perfect. But obviously, if you like it pink in the middle, you might just lightly sear it. Mmm. The avocado mouse. Yeah, not avocado mousse, avocado mouse. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about that, to be honest. I'll think about that. I do have somewhere in a cupboard some humane traps. You know, they're quite big, and you put a little piece of cheese or something in there, and then the mouse goes in, and then the trap door closes, and then you can take it to the park and repatriate it. Maybe might think about that. So I'm going to also pop a little bit of Samphire. Oh, this is a dream. Right, might have to finish my broadcast early. Ta-da! Cookie bowl. Yum. Right, now I mentioned a couple of things to do with olives, and I was having a look online yesterday because I was doing a bit of research, and I had been hearing about this supplement, new supplement for the immune system, which obviously is top of mind at the moment, isn't it, to help to support our immune system. And this is the olive leaf extract. You may have heard about it. So while I was up in town, I saw that Holland & Barrett was open, so I popped in there. Thought, oh, I'll have a little snoop around and see what I could get hold of. And I found this, and it's by Comvita, which is a brand that I've known about them for years. I think they started about 100 or so years ago, or maybe 1920s. Well, it is 100 years. My goodness, it is 100 years. In New Zealand, with honey, with a beekeeper, and they were one of the very first to do manuka honey and propolis. Really interesting company, actually. You can look them up online. Anyway, olive leaf extract is something that they have been doing for a while, and I hope he doesn't ring me back. Honestly, these people, my family, do they not know? Do they not know what I do? Does nobody pay attention? What can you say? What can you say? He'll probably try again now. Typical man. You know, he'll just carry on. Okay, so the dried olive leaf. So this is fresh olive leaf extract. I'll show you what it looks like. So, oh, I've taken the lid off with the top. There we go. So it comes with a little thingy like this. Might have to give it a shake. Let me try giving it a shake. So this is from olive leaves rather than the olives, which are pressed to make the oil. And, oops. It's tastes a bit like cough medicine. It's actually quite nice. It's quite tangy and quite herbal, and might have a little bit of honey in it, possibly. Oh, that is good. Anyway, I was doing some research. I saw it and I thought, I'll buy this and I'll look it up. So I brought it home yesterday and started researching it. And it's got very interesting polyphenol compounds in it, and it's been used for centuries for helping to support the immune system. There's some data that it can help with a healthy heart. It can possibly help with blood sugar regulation. So very interesting. Anyway, I popped a link to this in my piece that I wrote recently about support for the immune system, because there's a few other botanicals and vitamins and things that I'm taking at the moment. So I just thought that this could be a useful thing to add into our armoury. And I just really liked it, actually. So there you go. And safe to give to children as well. Follow the directions on the pack if you get it. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about was, somebody made a comment yesterday on Instagram to say that they'd just seen me on This Morning. And I thought, I wasn't on This Morning, I was here doing my Instagram Live. And what they did was they reran a piece that I filmed in Greece a while back, and it included a whole thing about olive oil. So there you go. Honestly, it's weird, isn't it, how all this stuff kind of comes together. So that was a little series that I filmed for them called, I think it was called Who Wants to Live Forever? And I went to various blue zones in and around Greece and the Greek islands, and I went to Sardinia, and I don't know, I must actually, they're on my list to contact today to say, oh, you're going to run any more of those films, because I like to let everybody know. They were really lovely. Really, really enjoyed it. I was really fortunate to be able to go. And as part of that, I took part in the olive harvest in Greece. And it's quite an interesting thing because my family, I've got family in Italy, in Umbria, and that's considered, certainly by the Italians, to be the absolute place for olive oil. And somebody's asking for the link. So yeah, so it's not Convicts brands, it's Convita. So basically, if you go to lizearlewellbeing.com, and you'll see there's an article there that I've written about how Liz supports her immune system. It's on there, okay? It's also on Linktree. So you don't have to go now, go later, because I'll soon be finished, and then you can just look it up. Lovely, Victoria saying, my husband just rang and my son came in just now too. They forgot again that you're live and it's my time. Absolutely. Well, I think maybe somebody's told my brother because he hasn't, hopefully. Fingers crossed, call back. So anyway, there's this little bit of a war that goes on between Greece and Spain and Italy about who produces the best olive oil. And I always thought, obviously being very loyal to my Italian part of the family, that it would be Italy and Umbria. And I do think that the Umbrian olive oil is very good. And even actually in Italy, they all war with each other because those down in Puglia say that their olive oil is much better than further north. Anyway, I was sent some olive oil by this lovely company called The Governor, and I've written about it actually in Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine. You might have seen it, and I wanted to mention it to you because this has been clinically tested and proven to be very beneficial. And if you've got your magazine, whoops, everything is falling over. Oh no. Oh, put my pen on my magazine and that has ripped the page. Anyway, bear with me. So this is the March-April issue. If you've got that one, then you'll see it as part of my Liz Loves at the back. I've got a mention here of the Governor Premium Olive Oil. You might have spotted that from before. And this is what I wrote about it at the time. And it says, I'm such a fan of extra virgin olive oil, also known as EVOO. You probably see this written more and more now because so much more science is coming out about extra virgin olive oil, EVOO. If you see that kind of shortened on anything, it's extra virgin olive oil. Because my family has top class olive groves in Umbria, so they do. So it takes a lot to impress me. This golden elixir is made from olives picked at perfect ripeness and hand pressed in very small batches. And it's one of the very few olive oils to be granted a health claim by the EU, meaning it's proven to be good for skin, heart and the digestive system. And the boxed bottles are beautiful as well. Absolutely they are, and I discovered this because I had a box sitting in my studios which I wanted to share with you because I was reminded that the lovely people at the Governor, and I know that they follow us, yes, my knobs are all off. They are off. I know it still sounds like they're not. That one wasn't, thank you very much. It was still on, okay, thank you. That was the oven actually, but thank you, it was the fan oven. Much better now, isn't it? Quieter. So the Governor, I think maybe with us on Instagram, possibly. I know, isn't it lovely? And I just wanted to share it with you because I was reminded that they have an offer code. They did an offer for us when I featured them in the magazine, and it's still active. So it's Liz Loves 10, all in capitals. Liz Loves 10 gives you 10% off. And what I thought would be particularly useful for now, not only because I'm talking about olive oil, but I don't know if you can see, but it's got a little leather kind of neckerchief here. Isn't that cute? And it comes in this beautiful box. This has to be some of the most amazing packaging I think I've ever seen for a bottle of olive oil. It looks like a kind of premium whiskey bottle or something, doesn't it? And it just reminded me that it is Father's Day coming up, and I've got a couple of things I'm going to share with you at the weekend. There might be ideas for Father's Day. But how lovely, to give this. We're all used to, potentially giving, I don't know, a bottle of wine or whatever, but a bottle of something really healthy could be really good. So it says here, a rare extra virgin olive oil with character from Corfu Island. early harvested fresh olive juice is full of concentrated goodness. There you go. So I share that with you, and we'll pop links. Amy, I know, darling, you'll do a link, won't you? Yes, Instafolk are all shouting about knobs needing checking. I've checked my knobs. Thank you. Don't start, okay? We're moving on. We're not going into nut territory or knob territory. No, we're not. We're just not doing it, okay? We're not. I'm not even going to smile because it's just not funny, is it really? I'm fun. It's all... So, on that note, what more do I have to say? I don't know. I have a lot more to say, actually, other than picking up on the olive oil thing. So, olive oil, obviously, the oil, super good and super beneficial. And I remember sitting with Tim Spector, Professor Tim Spector, in his office at King's College over in St Thomas's Hospital when I interviewed him for a podcast, which we've got. It was a really interesting gut health podcast if you want to take a listen to that. And he gave me some little tiny samples of olive leaf extract that he'd been sent because of its microbiome supporting properties. And it was really bitter, actually. I remember tasting it and going, oh my goodness, what is that? And he said, yeah, it is a bit bitter, but it's super good for you. And actually it did taste a little bit like this. I think it was the olive leaf extract. But this is good because it's got it's sweetened with honey. Let me see if I can tell you what it's sweetened with. It says, because it's obviously got something else in it. Okay, vegetable glycerol and olive leaf extract. There you go. No added alcohol or sugar. Cool. Well, there you go. Quite like it. Made from fresh picked Australian olive leaves. How delicious. So I shall leave you with that today. Just to recap on what I said yesterday, if you want some free magazines to read, go to Readly. So you can use the link. I've got it here on Facebook. Claire Earle, where is your top from? Oh, you see, you come in late. So you're just going to have to rewatch it. This is Asquith. And I had a whole chat about stripes and about how I don't normally like stripes, but I think this is really nice and I'm going to wear it a lot. And Alice at Asquith, you're absolutely right. Stripes are really fresh and bright and lovely for summer. And thank you for continuing the offer for everybody to get 20% off asquithlondon.com, and you just have to put Liz Earle 20. Liz Earle 20 will get you 20% off. But the link will be on Facebook. The link is on Linktree for Instagram. So yes, I was talking about free magazines. So Readly are an amazing organisation who collate loads and loads of magazines. I mean, literally tens of thousands of magazines all around the globe. And you can read them online and you can read back issues. So we've signed up. Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine is now on Readly. And you can get all the back issues. I think most of them, maybe not a couple of the very early ones, but virtually all our back issues are on Readly. And normally you pay a subscription, so you pay $7.99 a month, and that gives you unlimited access to every magazine. If you want to read Hello or OK or Vogue or Good Housekeeping or whatever it is, or Liz Earle Wellbeing, obviously, then that's all included in your $7.99 a month. But what they're doing at the moment, I think especially because we're all kind of in a lockdown situation or partial lockdown situation, is they're doing your first month free. So you can have a whole month to read all this stuff, and then there's no cancellation. If you want to cancel it, you just cancel. So there you go. So I'll put that out. You're welcome. Yes, I'm sorry. The Asquith code should work. Liz Earle 20. Liz Earle 20. I'm sorry, we're trying to consolidate all our codes because we've been doing little offer codes for the magazine for ages, and sometimes brands give us different codes to use. And now I've said, look, these are lovely things to offer. Let's try and do always Liz Loves. But some of the earlier ones were set up with a slightly different code. So the two that you need to remember today is the Asquith code is Liz Earle 20, Liz Earle 20. And then the Governor olive oil is Liz Loves 10. Okay, so you do need to pay attention. Liz Loves 10 for the olive oil and Liz Earle 20 for Asquith. That's it. I'll be back with you tomorrow, all being well. It's Floral Friday, so I've got some lovely goodies to share with you. I will be back on the farm, so I'm hoping to be able to bring you my peonies, which were just coming out into bloom and just so gorgeous, aren't they? probably one of my favourite flowers of all time, but they have just such a short window. Excellent, Liz Earle Wellbeing has just popped on to say that is the right code. Natalie, hi, how are you? How are you? How are you? Yes, you do need to focus and stop chatting. You see, you talk amongst yourselves and you miss it all and you have to watch it again. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed today. Make a poke bowl. If you make a poke bowl over the weekend with whatever you use, do take a picture and tag me. Love to see, and I'll repost on my stories. Anyway, I'll say goodbye for now, sending lots of love. Stay well, stay safe. See you tomorrow. Bye.